Last year was greatness. This time it's historic. The Florida Panthers are back-to-back Stanley Cup champions.
The Florida Panthers join an elite club, becoming back-to-back Stanley Cup champions.
To win it once is so hard. Win it twice, and it's even more amazing.
You can't believe it. It's the most special feeling in the world.
With the Cup staying in South Florida, so are the traditions.
Last year, it's even better this year. Twice in a row, baby.
Just being able to touch something like that is indescribable.
And before the team and fans focus on next season.
Let's go Panthers. Let's go for a 3-peat, baby. Let's go.
Let's enjoy this first, but 3-peat is a very good possibility.
It's time to celebrate this year's Stanley Cup win. Now, a WPDF 25 special presentation. The Florida Panthers Parade of Champions. Sponsored by Good Greek Moving and Storage.
It's Parade Day in South Florida. Today, fans are celebrating the Florida Panthers and their second Stanley Cup title. Hello and welcome to our special coverage, the Parade of Champions. I'm Tiffany Kenny.
And I'm Nikita Ramos. The wait is just about over for fans as the Panthers are set to arrive in decked-out buses to head down A1A in Fort Lauderdale. And right now, a lot of anticipation because for hours, fans have really been camping out since very early in the morning, locking in prime spots along the parade route. And we know that they've been trying to find the best spots, whether it's by the elbow room, by the stage. They're just trying to catch a glimpse of the Panthers or the Stanley Cup at this point.
And we have team coverage throughout the day. Our crews are stationed up and down the parade route. We're going to begin with Todd McDermott and Shane Wright, who are at the start of the celebration. Guys, what a great day to have a parade.
Tiffany, I'll tell you what, we are where you need to be. Shane, check your watch real quick. It is Stanley Cup Victory Parade o'clock. Right now, welcome to Panthers Victory Parade and Party, Part 2, the sequel, the Panthers Strike Back. We are at the Beach House by Hilton, right here on A1A, and we can see the Florida Panthers in those open-air buses right over this railing here, ready to start this very exciting parade, Shane.
Yeah, they're lined up right now. They're ready to go, and these fans are anticipating. You can feel the energy kind of bubbling and almost ready to burst here. The fans are just below us, lined up along the road here. And Todd, these fans, some of them were here last year. Some of them, this is a new team for them. Some of them have been fans since the early 90s. We had a big mix of fans here, but one thing is certain, they are excited to see these back-to-back champions up close and in person.
And you know what's not bubbling this year is thunderstorms.
Exactly.
The storms have held off. We had a little rain today. The crowd is big. It's mostly dry except for perspiration and anything else they might be doing to keep hydrated. But it is going to be a great parade, great party ahead. You can hear the crowd behind us. And I will also confirm that the bagpipers are ready to go. They've been rehearsing for several hours. Shane and I almost joined the whole bagpiper troop.
Yeah, they're right below us practicing and getting ready for this show. They sounded great, and it's just one of many acts that's expected to come across through here in the parade. And these fans, again, are super excited. And I don't know if you guys can hear them, but they're ready. They're ready to go right
Yeah,
now.
they're ready. I think the players are ready too. They were born ready, and they are ready for this party today. Let's talk a little bit about the Panthers and what we're seeing, because as long as we were waiting for the Panthers to win a Stanley Cup last year, it seemed improbable, but they did it. They dominated. This season, maybe even more improbable,
right,
with all the road wins it took, not having home ice advantage, and now we're celebrating a second straight cup.
Yeah, the most road wins in NHL history in the playoffs belong to this year's Panthers, and you wonder after last year, some of the changes they made, they did a good job of bringing back Sam Reinhart, and they added, of course, Bill Zito, a masterful job of being a GM/president and adding the pieces that he did, especially at the trade deadline with Brad Marchand and Seth Jones coming over, a big defensive player. So pressed all the right buttons, which is what you need to do to repeat as champions. And the guys that have been here before, they embraced the new guys, and this is the result. Back-to-back champions, the 10th team to do it in Stanley Cup.
One of the greatest gestures was letting all the new players who had not won a cup touch that cup first the other night when they won in Game 6, 5-1 over the Edmonton Oilers. We're waiting for the button to be pressed for this parade to start and see those buses and the band start to move. But I want to go to Felicia Rodriguez and Andrew Rozier, who are in a very prime spot of their own down at the end of the parade route. Ladies,
forward. And what I tell you, this crowd is hype. They've been chanting three-peat. We want 3.
We want another championship, even though we have 2 already. You know, I know this is at the end of the parade, but definitely this is where the party starts. They've been partying since we've been here. They haven't stopped. Every time they show the Panthers on the scoreboard behind me on the big screen, everybody screams like they're right at the arena again. I mean, I don't even know when the arena party stopped and this party began and all season matched together.
They're having their own party right here. We're going to throw it back to you guys because I know the parade is about to pass you guys.
Oh.
They're starting to see it move this way. My shoulder. They just started rolling. They just started rolling. We have a long, long line of the big red double-decker buses full of players and their families. And we're looking for the Cup too, but they have now started, and they're starting to roll from Ryamar Street right down A1A. Shane, the parade route's about 1 mile. They make a big turn, and then there's a big party waiting for them at the end of the turn.
And that's what you remember most about last year is the big party at the end when each player got on stage, got to thank the fans. And the big part about this, and you mentioned the family of the players, this is such a big moment for them as well. They enjoyed it. They've been along this journey with all of the players as well. They got to sit ice side and come on the ice and to celebrate with some of the family members. And that was what Yanni and I took away from being on the ice after they won the Cup, is just seeing the family, seeing Sergei Bobrovsky hug his wife, embrace his wife, and A.J. Greer telling me this is the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life.
I remember
Picked up his 3-year-old and hugged him and just said, "Look, I love you," and it's part of the process here, and the family's right along with them.
I really believe seeing up close the players' reaction to winning that Cup, and again, they did it in 6 games. They won another one of these playoff series in 5 games. With the amount of effort they put in and the sheer exhaustion mixed with jubilation at the end shows you how hard it is to win a Stanley Cup. Now they've done it twice in a row. They are back-to-back champions, one of just 10 teams in the history of the NHL to do that. And by the way, the last team to do it was also a Florida team. We won't even say that team's name today. But they went back-to-back. We also have a little history in Florida with back-to-backs with our own Miami Heat within the last decade, a little over a decade ago, winning those back-to-back championships. But such a magnificent achievement for this team. And again, to repeat in professional sports, when rosters turn over, players retire, players get injured, to do it again is really a wonderful achievement, and fans are ready to go to thank those players today.
And they did it in dominating form too. A team that, and if talking about records, a team that led the most time in all of the playoffs in NHL history. And this is a team that finished 5th in the Eastern Conference. This wasn't a dominating team during the regular season, but they knew when the time the playoffs came, they knew it was time to hit that button. They had the experience. They had all the guys that were put in place last year. Sam Bennett, Conn Smythe winner, what a season he had, what a playoffs he had. Scored the most goals, 15 goals in the playoffs, 22 points, well-deserving. And he said, look, it could have went to any one of us. It could have went to Sam Reinhart. 4 goals in that Game 6 to cement things. And this team is deep. Every team that they faced in the playoffs said, this team is deep. Anybody can score. They set another record with the most different players to score in the playoffs. Over 20 players put it in a goal, and just from top to bottom, this roster was well put together.
And I do believe that also these players, based on the effort they put in and what it took to win this second Stanley Cup, they're looking forward to this. This is a chance for them to really cut loose and celebrate with their fans up close. The rally is a raucous affair. We know from last year. They really get after it. They really enjoy themselves.
I don't know if they slept after that because we saw the elbow room was packed.
The party went, and the party went, and the party went over and over again. Just kept going, and we expect to see that party last. But the parade is definitely moving now. Those fans, I'm trying to get a read on how many people we have this year. Last year, the estimate was some 200,000 people. And as you recall, and I mentioned at the top, the terrible weather we had some torrential thunderstorms, lightning bolts, the parade was delayed. I don't know if this crowd is larger or smaller, but it is every bit as enthusiastic as it was last year. because Stanley Cups just don't come around very often, and 2 in a row is a time to really throw a party because you don't know if it'll ever happen again.
No, and that's why they celebrate so much, and people probably wonder why. Like, the celebration goes, well into the month, and each player gets to have the cup for a little while and do what he wants to do with it with his family, and that's what the celebration is all about. We talked all season about how these guys, when you interview them, you don't get much personality, you don't get much from them because they're so focused during the season, and that relief on their faces after they won the cup on the ice afterwards was something that was really relishing to see because it just showed how much work they had put in. And they told us, like, look, a lot of people don't see what goes on behind the scenes. Of course, you don't see the many days of practice, and hockey players are some of the toughest athletes out there. They play with broken shins and broken fingers, and we found out Matthew Tkachuk had a big-time injury throughout this whole playoffs. We saw it. He didn't look himself, but he was out there with his team. So all that goes into it. So when you finally win, you get to exhale and look, man, celebrate all you want. Run up and down the streets, throw the cup into the ocean, whatever you want to do.
Well,
it's well deserved.
That's probably going to be done anytime
anytime
today. And we should. This is a good time before we see the cup again. And I see it. It's behind the camera now, but I see the glint of the cup. If that's actually the true cup and not a replica. But we should mention I'm sure people are wondering about the slight damage done to the Stanley Cup in the seconds after the victory. I know that we know a little bit more about that, and we've been assured, and we may not be able to verify, that the cup would be repaired in time for this parade.
Well, I mean, the people would know that if you follow hockey, you know that the cup it probably tells many secrets. But this
I think it was in the gutter at one point in Toronto.
Exactly. But this happened, I believe, on the ice after the game because we saw some of the pictures that came in. But yes, it happens all the time. Some of the keepers of the cup say this is something that they're used to, so it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. The cup, they said, would be fixed in time for the celebration here.
I still think the funniest thing about the Stanley Cup is, and I know that you have had it put in your hands, I've had it put in my hands, but the guy who handles it wears white gloves.
He does.
And he wears white gloves. Kid gloves, taking care of it. But once you win the cup, well, it's your toy for a while.
Yes.
It gets a little bit of abuse, gets a saltwater bath, and a whole lot else.
And for those who don't know, every player on the team gets their name etched into the cup, which is another reason why it's one of the most revered trophies in all of sports. And I guess we're getting ready to go now. They're starting up again. They're marching now. They're ready to go.
Marching south on A1A as we speak. Again, they go about 1 mile, make the turn there at Southeast 5th, and then end up at Fort Lauderdale Beach Park, and that's where the big rally is. And again, this whole crowd will, many of them follow the parade route, go down A1A, make that turn, and end up in the park there for the rally, and that can go on really as long as they want. And I'm told now that our colleague Stephen Graves from the morning show, we saw him today. He's been here longer than we have. He is right below us down on the street. Stephen, what's it like street side?
I tell you what, it is electric, Todd. Right here, take a look. There are some players on this bus and beyond. So we got players coming by as we speak, tossing things into the crowd. It is just an electric atmosphere out here. So earlier, we had executives and their families come through. You're gonna say MVP, MVP. If you shoot up here, there you go. People shouting MVP as the bus goes by. And as you know, people are also screaming back to back, because look, we accomplished something amazing, back-to-back championships. So I just want to hear the crowd. Come on, this is the crowd we have right here. There we go. Yeah. So we have a lot of people here. There are some people from Palm Beach County too. My friend right here is right from Palm Beach County, Boynton Beach. Tell us, why'd you come? Why'd you have to make sure you came?
Hey, you know what? I want to be a part of the ride. I did it last year. We're doing it again this year. Back-to-back champs.
Yeah.
Can't beat it.
And look, I mean, beautiful weather this time, right?
Oh, man. It beats sitting in the soaking rain.
Yeah.
You know what? We'll enjoy some cold beers to wash it off.
And do we have a future hockey player here?
What do we think?
Matt Tkachuk.
Yeah, he's one, for sure.
And look, y'all are from Boynton Beach. Tell us what it's like to be a fan in Palm Beach County throughout this.
You know what? The vibes are high. You see Panthers gear everywhere, and it's not a far trip down to Sunrise to enjoy the games.
Yeah. All right, well, I'll let you enjoy.
Thanks. Let's go, Panthers.
So we got more buses coming by. And look, we got the mascot. And, of course, the infamous rat, right? We can't have a celebration without the rat. that has really solidified into history for the Panthers. So as these buses go by, we're gonna have more and more players come. They're getting these freebies. Look, ready to strike, guys. So this is the mood down here. It is electric. We're gonna be down here for you all parade, bringing you the updates right. Oh, there we go. I got one. This one just came through, so a lot is happening down here, guys. I'll send it back to you for now.
All right, Stephen Graves hyping a crowd up that doesn't need to be hyped up right now. They got the mascot in front of them. They got the cup down the street. We've got the whole lineup of the buses right in front of us about to roll past this crowd, and they are going nuts.
Yeah, I would say that there's not a fan favorite, at least what we can see when it comes to the players, because you would think like, oh, they want to see this guy. When you look at the jerseys, when you go to the games, you see all type of jerseys.
You get the whole roster.
You get the whole roster. You get Kachuk, you get Sam Bennett, you get Sam Reinhart, you get Marchand, you get, of course, Alexander Barkov, of course, Sergei Bobrovsky. You get the whole team, and you look all over the crowd, and you don't know which one's the best player. I had somebody ask me who was watching the games, they're like, who's the best player? I'm like, I don't know.
Choose one.
Choose one, because the roster is that deep, and they love the team that much.
And it really depends on the game. You look at Reinhardt's goals, and you look at Sam Bennett's goals, and you look at what the other players have done. You look at Bob in goal.
Yep.
Over and over and over again. It's hard to choose. You know, hockey traditionally has that 3 stars after the game, that
yes.
old tradition. But when it comes to the Panthers, in these victories, it was hard to choose unless you were just counting goals, because there were so many goals came in clusters in this game. And we will mention briefly the Edmonton Oilers, a great team that now is officially, they have to consider the Florida Panthers their all-time nemesis, having been kept out of the Cup twice, 2 finals in a row. Also a pretty rare thing.
Yeah, and they haven't won it since 1993, and you know how passionate Canada is about their hockey, but I got news for Canada. The home for the Stanley Cup right now is right here in South Florida.
We're going to build a condo for it.
You got to deal with it for at least one more year. The Panthers next year are trying to become the 5th team to win 3 straight championships. And with this roster, we're talking about Sam Bennett. He's an undrafted or unrestricted free agent at the end of this season.
Right.
He said on stage at one of the nightclub nights, I'm coming back.
He did.
I'm not sure his agent is happy about that. But
let's see. Let's show him the money, and then maybe he'll decide.
Maybe he'll come back, but you got to trust Bill Zito. He's done exactly the right things, as we've mentioned many times. So I feel like they'll get a job, get a deal done, and we'll see what other pieces you got to push in throughout the season at the trade deadline, maybe next year again. And and we'll see what happens.
And you mentioned 1993. That's a very significant year. That's the last year the Edmonton Oilers won the Cup. It's also the first years of the Florida Panthers' existence when they were playing in Miami. Now, as you know, they play in Sunrise, but all South Florida claims them, of course. And when you think about what's happened over the last 32 years to hockey fandom in South Florida, especially with the influx of folks from colder climates have come down, and there's a rabid fan base here in South Florida, and they just couldn't be happier. I've talked to people who said, they went to watch parties at bars. There were watch parties in apartment complexes. There was hooting and hollering. It's just like it could be Montreal, but it's not. It's a lot warmer than Montreal. Montreal gets hot this time of year. But like Shane said, the Cup's home is here in South Florida, and maybe it'll be a 3rd year. We don't know.
Yeah, and there's a good shot of the Cup right there. Again, the team trying to become the 5th team to win 3 straight next year.
I'll give you $50 if you tell me who's got it right now.
Well, I
it's
can
hard to
hardly
see at our tiny little monitor.
On our feed right here, but it looks like the main roster is right around that area. But it's like a college-like atmosphere with the fan base. They just get really riled up. The more successful, obviously, the team is, the more they cheer. And I went to a game in Raleigh in the Carolina Hurricane series. They got a really good fan base there too. But just being in that atmosphere, the Florida Panthers, the home atmosphere rivals any across the NHL. It's that much energy from the crowd when you're at one of these games. And I got to tell you, if you've never been to a Florida Panthers game, especially in the playoffs, do yourself a favor. Even if you're not really big into hockey, it's an event, and it's put on really well by the arena crowd and the arena team, and it's just really a sight to see when you go to these games.
And we can take a moment for you mentioned the GM Zito and the ownership, the Florida Panthers, but I think it's worth pointing out how the league views this franchise, where it's come from and where it is now, and how it's viewed in terms of the way they put the team together, the camaraderie on that team, You talked about the fact that there's never one hero. It's not a one-star centered team at all. But at the same time, this franchise is looked at throughout the league as really a goal for other franchises.
Yes, and they went about a decade there in the early 2000s where they didn't have a playoff berth. You know, some of the early 90s, those teams that had Robin Niedermeyer and Scott Mellenby and Bill Lizzie and Stu Barnes and John Van Briesbroek, those were some of the early days that if you were around in Fort Lauderdale, 954, 561, 305 back in all of South Florida. If you're a fan back there, you remember those rosters.
I remember those names.
And you remember the times where things weren't so great. They had to run there early against the Colorado Avalanche, but things kind of went downhill for a while, and now things are back uphill for the Panthers.
No wonder fans are exploding with joy. This second consecutive Stanley Cup victory parade. Right now, I want to go to Chris Martinez for Silverang. You don't have to give a forecast. We know the forecast. The forecast calls for
it's hot.
A big party, and it's hot. Chris, Brooke?
It sure is, and we did everything we could to hold off on the shower. We have some really die-hard Panthers fans, bro.
That's right. So we have a special guest joining us, and this is a really South Florida tradition. We call this the Pots and Pans.
Half of them live in Miami.
Yes. We love it. So
5 a.m.
They were here at 5 a.m. today. Half are from Palm Beach County, half are from Miami-Dade, showing up to support the Panthers for sure. The bus is literally...
the bus is almost here. So let's pan on over so you guys can see where the bus is. And we're right next to the Ritz-Carlton. So
right next to the Ritz-Carlton. Carlo, if you can pan up to the bus, you can see the bus is right here. We've got the Panthers fan right there. Everybody just having a great time.
I mean, we've been saying that it's been such an amazing day, all the energy, and we're just in the middle. So, you know, the further north we're going,
we're just getting started.
We're just getting started. We have the buses with the players coming, and, you know, I've been going to Panthers game my whole life, Chris, so it's amazing to finally see them win 2 years in a row.
And it's one of those things, you got to really be here, and you got to appreciate the fans here in South Florida that have come out. These folks out here at 5 a.m. this morning. Elbow room was packed at 7 a.m. this morning.
And there was also some rainfall this morning.
Yeah, so these are diehard Panther fans, and it is just a great, like you said, energy out here supporting our Stanley Company.
Has come such a long way when it comes to sports. And you know what's so cool about the Panthers? It's not just Broward, it's everywhere. Woo! So let's get it.
Everyone just hyped up, everyone loud, everyone living. Again, it's just great to see the environment that we're out here in South Florida. I mean, you can't beat a beautiful Sunday afternoon with no rain so far.
Exactly. And again, everyone is just out here with the heat, and you know, it's just such an amazing day to celebrate the Panthers.
We got another bus coming our direction. We got 4 players on that bus right there.
Listen, I've never gotten to see Lord Stanley in person, so I'm excited to see the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, and hopefully it stays dry, but after hours it doesn't stay too dry for sure. We've seen it filled up with the fans.
Everywhere. It's gone to the beach, it's gone to almost all the bars.
It's gone to the bar,
it
has had a nice dinner the other night in Miami. It's been everywhere, and they're not afraid. They were taking shots and drinks, their favorite beverages out of Lord Stanley.
And water drinking, staying hydrated.
It's even been chipped a little bit, but that can be fixed as well. But you can see again, just another it's gorgeous out here. No rain in sight, so that's good news. It's not like last year again, we were tracking all those showers here across the area, but you can see another bus up there.
All right, Chris, so now we have another bus coming up. We see some of the players on there. The families are also welcome. Yeah. So we have wives, we have kids, we have parents. It's just such an amazing day to share with everybody.
So, yep, another bus. We got some players up here. We've got families up here, friends. as we get a little break in the lull in the activity, we're waiting another couple of buses. We can't quite, I mean, let's just be honest. There's so much electricity, there's so much noise out here. We can't really hear anything back at the station. But you know what? We're going to send it back to Todd and Shane, who's just a little north of our area, as we await the next two buses of players and fans.
Let's go to Stephen Graves right now. He's down there with Brad Marchand. He's out of the bus.
Right now you can see Brad Marchand signing some autographs for everyone here. We just talked to him. I'll see if we can pull him a second, but he's busy signing autographs for people. Look, we know he's been up partying throughout the whole time. People saying, Marshy. And look, we got a Stanley Cup coming up. All right, here it is coming, saying Marshy. There he goes, Marchand. There he is, the Stanley Cup. Turn around, hold it up. There he goes, the iconic shot right there. Tell us what it's been like.
What?
Tell us what it's been like, really quickly, please.
Can't explain it. It's unbelievable. It's the best feeling in the world. It's a dream come true.
In South Florida, something different, right? Like the energy's different.
They do it right down here. It's pretty damn special.
We heard it right there, back to back. Marchand, I mean, look, he's a man here. He's been living it up in South Florida. The fans are loving him as they're walking by. And I mean, how selfless is this of him to be walking down? What was that like? What was that like just now meeting him?
It was absolutely amazing.
Are you a huge fan?
Oh, huge fan. He did a great job. It was great fitting for this team.
Are you happy we got him?
Oh, of course. Yeah. It was just so exciting in some of his plays. Yeah.
Back to back. What's the history behind this? You got your own Stanley Cup.
Well, I almost lost my wife here because yesterday was our anniversary of 23 years, and I was busy working on this, and I forgot all about our anniversary.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, last minute I had to shower up real quick and take her out to dinner.
Well,
I'm not done. I'm not done.
It made up.
I mean, and then to see one of your favorite players face to face like that, and you got to thank him face to face. That's what it's all about, right?
That's exactly what it's all about.
They did. They brought the city together, right? It wasn't one man on his own out there. It was a team, and then that's the way they played it, and that's out in the streets. That's the way they play, right? Awesome.
And you got all the names right here, huh?
All the names right there, and hopefully I got a few autographs.
Oh yeah, I mean you already got what, 3?
3, yeah.
All right. Thank you all. Enjoy. All right, so you're looking at that there. The crowd's just electric. Players getting off the bus. Earlier I saw Seth Jones come off the bus. He talked to some people. He had to head back on, but what a great time. What a great time, guys. I'll send it back to you.
He's got it right now next to him.
All right,
right
Stephen, if you can hear me, turn around and look. Tell us what you see, because I believe the cup is right there with you.
Right there, man.
You are at ground zero for Stanley Cup, Lord Stanley's Cup.
Oh my goodness, I missed it. I didn't see it. It's kind of loud here, so I'm trying to keep up. Pan up.
Well, I know that you try.
All right, guys, I'm gonna send it back to you.
And, we need to talk about that. All right, Stephen. You know what, Shane? Let's take a moment and talk about that. The last player added, lifetime Boston Bruin, comes in, not happy really to be traded by the Bruins this late in his career, and look at him out of the bus, meeting fans, signing autographs, completely adopted by South Florida, and a key part of the Stanley Cup victory.
Like, if you would have told Boston fans and Florida Panthers fans at the end of the season Brad Marchand will be in Fort Lauderdale Beach signing autographs for winning a Stanley Cup, they'd have told you that you were crazy. But it happened, and it's really interesting because everybody knows the history between the New England teams and the South Florida teams, when the Celtics and the Heat and the Patriots and the Dolphins and the Bruins and the Panthers, we don't really like each other, South Florida fans and New England fans, but it happened. Bill Zito made the trade, a bold move to bring Brad Marchand in. He hated leaving Boston. You can see the sadness on his face when it happened. He was not, I'm sure he had mixed feelings.
His
about
reaction was not particularly enthusiastic.
Very, very, a lot of success very happy with that franchise, but they made the move, brought him here. He was an integral piece of this Stanley Cup team and had some amazing games in the beginning part of the Stanley Cup final. He could have been the finals MVP.
Yeah, he really could have.
The Stanley Cup, Conn Smythe is for the entire playoffs, but he played well in the series. I believe he was second place to Sam Bennett and winning the Conn Smythe, but it could have been him. Scored some amazing goals, and he's well deserving. And he's had fun since he's won the cup. He's been all over the place. He was at Club 11. he's a really
little different than Boston.
Embracing his South Florida, his home now.
I think it's important to point out how different it is for a player who spent his whole career at 37 years old with a professional sports franchise to get traded near the end of the season. But you know, that trade by the Bruins helped them out perhaps in the future and got him another ring.
Yeah, he got him another ring, and Zito has his work.
2024!
Back. He's one of the unrestricted free agents along with Sam Bennett and I believe Aaron Ekblad. So we'll see. Ekblad's a guy that cornerstone of this franchise that was drafted. But we can talk about all that coming up in the next few months. But right now is the day to celebrate these champions back to back.
And I will point out, because this is, as I said, it's Stanley Cup Victory Parade Part 2, the sequel. The Panthers strike back. This parade's moving fast today.
It is.
We have hundreds of thousands of people out here, but it is moving fast. There is the cup on the street. If that cup doesn't go in the sand and into the ocean right now, I don't know what I'm talking about.
I mean, think about these fans that have come down here and waited. We drove in here early this morning, and there were already some fans here waiting.
They had their camping chairs, they had their coolers.
This is the moment that they've been waiting for. This is why you come down here, that you spend the time to see the Stanley Cup up close and personal. It's not something that a lot of fans get to see, and right now the cup is off of the bus, going down the road, and just amazing that these fans get to see it up close and personal. The players do such a good job of involving the fans in the celebration. They let them touch it, they let them raise it, they let them drink out of it. I don't know what else they want to do with it.
Breakfast cereal, maybe.
Eat cereal out of it, whatever, but they get to enjoy the championship. It's not just a team championship. It's not just a city championship.
I'm watching
it's the whole
this.
area.
I can't see who's got the cup right now.
Yeah, it's kind of hard
to see on the monitor we have.
And all these guys have changed their faces. Because they've all shaved.
They've all shaved.
They
look like new men. I will point out, I'm thinking about Coach Paul Maurice last year when he raised the cup above his head and said, heavier than I expected.
Yes. It was a relief. He was relieved. He's coached all these games in the NHL and was the coach that had coached the most games without winning a cup in NHL history. But now he's on the other side of history, having won back-to-back championships. And now you're going to have to add Paul Maurice's name to some of the best coaches that ever coached the game, especially if they can continue this run. This is not a short run. This is a very bold move by this franchise to bring Paul Maurice in a year after winning the President's Cup for the best record in the league, most points. And then you make the move to bring in Paul Maurice, and it paid off in a big way. And it's just the makeup of a championship
roster. I don't think at the time everybody in the league thought that was such a great move because, as you said, the coach with the most games without winning a Stanley Cup, that is not your prime candidate to take your team over the top because they hadn't won a cup yet. Now he has two, which puts him in the conversation among the greatest NHL coaches of all time. I see the cup is back on the bus. I thought it might make it all the way down to A1A and they turn the corner all the way to the rally on the street, but it's going to get a ride for a little while now.
And going back to Paul Maurice a bit, each one of these players, when they talk about this team, they talk about him and they just talk about how free they feel in the locker room and how he lets you be yourself. And those are some of the things that really matter when it comes to championship teams. Any team in any sport that wins a championship, they tell you about the camaraderie in the locker room, how everything, the atmosphere. It's not always about what happens on the field or on the court or on the ice. It's some of those intangibles that has to be the right fit. Paul Maurice was the right fit at the time. He put the guys together at the right time, and this is what you get from it.
He has very specifically talked about the fact that with this team, these guys aren't saying, I want to be on camera, I want to get the goals, I need the points, I want the attention. There's none of that there. And I think you can speak to this in terms of professional sports franchises especially. this group is unique, and the climate in that locker room is unique for a professional sports franchise.
Yeah, because you don't have a big star. You don't have the guy that's stealing some of the headlines. You don't have a guy that's out there in front as kind of the lead guy, which is very rare. You know, like we talked about, this team is deep. At any moment, at any given time, it could be any guy. It could be a defenseman. It could be a forward. You just never know at any time and period. And each team in every round, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and you ask the Carolina Hurricanes, and all to the Edmonton Oilers, they all say the same thing, that it's hard to prepare for the Florida Panthers because of their grit and how deep they are, and the teams like that, extremely hard to beat.
I have to tell you, and I meant to talk about this during the series, in listening to some of the studio analysts during this playoff series, there seemed to be a perception perhaps Edmonton had the advantage. They had the better record this year. They had home ice advantage this year. And you could tell in some of the commentary that they felt at some point that the Oilers were going to take control of this. And really, in the grand scheme of things, the Oilers were more effective coming back last year and sending it to 7 games than they were this year. The Panthers really hit another gear in this final.
Yeah, you got to think they had the best player on the ice. They had what many consider
Connor
the best
McDavid.
player in the world, Connor McDavid. You go up and down their roster, you know, they're kind of top heavy, and they just felt like a lot of the analysts felt like that would take them over. And then they had some additions that they feel like, would put them over the top this year, and they had home ice and everything like that. But it just wasn't to be, because the Panthers really, really did a good job of game planning from McDavid. Before, in our 30-minute special, before the series, we said, Yanni and I said, listen, you've got to slow down Connor McDavid. And I don't believe he scored his first goal until game 4.
No.
So I mean, they did that, and they played well throughout the entire series, and, making sure they slowed him down.
I'm going to go back down to the excitement down on the street. Let's go to Felicia and Angela with all the fans as the parade makes that turn. Ladies?
Guys, the beginning of the parade is finally making its way down here to the end of the parade where the stage is. We're on the media riser here. This crowd is going wild now. Everyone who was over by the drinking tent has now made their way over to the street and is getting ready to watch the players go by.
I mean, first of all, we saw the 3 flags. We had an American flag, and we had a Stanley Cup flag, and then we had the championship flag. Everyone's eyes followed that flag, and now we see a marching band following that flag. Everyone is making their way to A1A, and I heard you talk about Brad Marchand earlier. I don't think he's been asleep since the Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Championship. That man has been everywhere. Folks have been talking about him here today. They can't wait to see him tonight. And right now we see the band with their Florida Panther jerseys on, marching here on A1A.
Can we just go back for a second to that comment, Todd, when you had to let Stephen Graves know to turn around and see the Stanley Cup behind him as he was talking to Brad Marchand, because Angela Rosia turned and looked at the camera and said, Stephen, you had one job to do, and that was to look out for the cup. It was hilarious. So we've been down here at the end of the parade just waiting to see signs of life of this parade, and now this crowd is going crazy. Everybody has their phones out. The crowd is cheering as the parade comes down A1A. You can hear the boats that are in the water, these hordes going on. It's an exciting time to be a Panthers fan, an exciting time to be in South Florida. We want to go back now to Todd and Shane.
And I don't. Thank you, Felicia. And I don't want to make people think that the parade is the end of the party, because the rally follows this in Fort Lauderdale Beach Park. That's where the rest of this happens, and it could go on for quite some time, and we will be hearing from the players when that starts. For now, the typical shift in hockey is about 45 seconds. We've been on about 40 minutes or so. We're going to towel off, take a quick drink of water, and be right back with more coverage of the Stanley Cup Victory Parade number 2 for the Florida Panthers. All right, Shane, there we are. We have got a live look at the Cup on the parade route. The parade has passed us by here at Beach House on Fort Lauderdale Beach, but the parade is still in full swing, and there it is. There's the Cup.
Yeah, the newly refurbished Cup because it was a bit damaged.
Did they fix that crack?
They say they were going to fix a little crack, a little dent
with what,
here.
masking tape?
I don't, some monkey glue. I don't know, something. But no, it's exciting to see. It does look sparkling and brand new, but look, you got to take care of that thing. The Cup will spend the next few months going from each player to each player, really getting that time in to enjoy it with their family and friends, and that's what make the Stanley Cup so special.
And again, the Cup will play a starring, there it is,
there
up in the air
is.
Again. Don't drop it, but if you do, it just dents and they fix it.
You fix it.
The Cup will play a starring role at the rally to come in Fort Lauderdale Beach Park around the corner here. That Cup will be up on stage. It'll be passed around. It has such great significance in the world of sports, even among those who aren't necessarily rabid hockey fans.
Correct.
Because it is such an old trophy. It has such a history. There are all those names and team names on it. It really holds a special place in the world of professional sports.
Yeah, been around since the 1800s. I mean, the Cup is old and it has a lot of history. And again, I believe it's the only Cup that has every winner ever on it. So it's steadily evolving, and it's so hard to win, and it's really exciting to see. And you talked about the celebration that's going to happen. That's really the fun time because you don't know what's going to come out of these players and the coach's mouth around that time. Because
I can think of a couple things. Yeah,
a couple things. Yeah. You may have to have the bleep ready, but they're going to enjoy that time, and we're going to hear what the plan is. Hopefully, coming up here going forward to try to repeat. But these fans are going to get to enjoy it. The players are going to get to enjoy it. They're going to say whatever they want. Today is the day to do it, and they work so hard for this day.
And it's an interesting mix on this team, too. And when you see a victory parade like this and a rally, the mix of veteran players and young players who haven't been here before, and they're celebrating together like a family.
And you got some of the young players like that came in, Thomas Nosek, that didn't play as many minutes, but he was one of the key additions, one of the younger players on the team that was added to the roster. You got an older player, a veteran like Nate Schmidt that came on and helped as well, and then some good playoff minutes. So all around, from top to bottom, young, old, veteran, whatever, the roster well put together.
All right, let's run back down to the parade route with Felicia and Angela among the fans and all the players that are there.
Ooh, hey guys, we've got beach balls coming at us. The crowd is going crazy. It really is electric here. We've had 2 buses of players and their wives now make their way down here, and the players are getting off the buses and about to make their way on stage.
I can tell you right now, it's hard to determine or pick out exactly who the players are. As you said, they've shaved off their playoff beards, so it's hard to determine or to figure out who's there, but I can tell you definitely everyone on those double buses are excited to be here. They were greeted by a loud crowd here. They've been waiting. You guys got the first taste of it, and now the folks here get to share that fun.
Security is tight, I can tell you. We have officers they're mounted officers here. We also have officers on the ground, and they're being led on the carpet by officers as well. So security is very tight. Fans are not being allowed to leave this enclosed space. Once you're in here, you really can't get out until after the event is over. So security is very tight right now. The crowd's starting to chant, "We want 3, we want 3," if you can hear them behind us.
And you know what? I can relate to that. I want 3 as well. And I know you guys were talking earlier about the Stanley Cup, how it had a little dent in it when it came into South Florida. But trust me, that cup has been around many, many years. Don't blame all the dents on South Florida fans, okay? But we do know how to roll.
It happens all the time, right, Angela? We have another bus. We have 2 more buses coming our way. So this crowd is ready and waiting. They have been here since before 7 a.m. waiting to see their favorite players, the Florida Panthers. We'll toss it back to you guys.
All right, and I think it's interesting because they say we want 3, and all of a sudden I thought of the word three-peat. And as you know, if you know your sports history, you use the word three-peat. There's a guy who's in charge of the Miami Heat who trademarked that a long time ago named Pat Riley. He makes some money off that, that word three-peat. If you put it on a T-shirt, Pat Riley makes money.
Pat Riley did make money, but a little bit of basketball news. Pat Riley didn't make the move to acquire Kevin Durant That happened just a few minutes ago. A little basketball news to slide in there. He's going to the Rockets for Dylan and Jalen Green and a number of picks. But we'll deal with the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat did tweet and send out their congratulations to the Florida Panthers, along with the Miami Dolphins, other sports franchises here in South Florida. Inter Miami sent out their congratulations, and the South Florida fans from other teams are hoping they can copy what the Panthers did to bring their own franchises a championship as well. It's hard to do, but the Panthers have found a way to do it back-to-back years.
We
now.
mentioned before, too, you know, the Heat made it to 3 finals in a row and won 2 of them. They were back-to-back in 2012 and 2013, and now the Florida Panthers have done it, and South Florida sports fans, you get a lot of championships out of that. Let's go down to Chris Martinez and Brooke Silverang right now on the parade route.
Hey guys, yeah, the players are throwing us for a little loop because some of them have shaved. I can tell you that.
That's right.
Some have shaved, so you're thinking, oh, that kind of looks like, you know. But hey, anyway, everyone out here is having a great time. It is hot, but it's not raining, and that's the good news. And just a lot of celebration. We really have some really die-hard fans in South Florida, Brooke.
That's right. You know, they're standing out in the heat, and we're craving these conditions because it is hot out here. But, you know, the buses, we saw about 14 buses go by, and, you know, the people on the top of the bus are just out there in the sun. So the players, the family, it's just amazing to be with
It's
everyone.
just a great vibe out here. Again, we're talking about Stanley Cup champions back-to-back, and the celebration is just so, it's just a great energy out here in Fort Lauderdale Beach. You can see just another beautiful day and no rain to speak of. Fans are just walking to and fro. We've got water guns. We've gotten pelted with all kinds of cold beverages today, and yeah. But you know, and it's just one of those things. Like, fans are so hyped. They got here at 5 a.m. to find their favorite spot. And you can see again as these tractor trailers continue just down the parade route, they're on the way down towards the stage where Angela and Felicia are at. But just a great time. I mean, look at all these people. Shane and Todd, you were talking about last year, about 200,000 in attendance. I'm thinking, I mean, it's at least that. You've got both sides of the streets really packed. You got the area near Felicia and Angela that is super packed. And you've got the area at the beginning of the parade route that is also super packed. So I'm thinking, yeah, at least 200,000 people here.
I think more. I'm going with 300,000. It's gorgeous out. And everyone right now is walking north, so we're going to start to see everybody heading up towards Felicia and Angela. They want to be by the stage.
Going to the stage. And I tell you what, they were protecting Lord Stanley like it was a little baby, weren't they?
I mean, it looks big, but it's even bigger when you see it with your own eyes.
Absolutely.
And that trophy has so much history.
Yeah, but they had that thing seat belted in. They didn't want to have another scratch on that at all. Right. I mean, look at the fans. How does it feel? How does it feel? Yeah. I mean, you really can't beat this. A fine Sunday, sunshine.
There's nothing like hockey fans. We'll be real. South Florida hockey fans are honestly the best. Florida's the hockey capital.
Absolutely. Do you think they're as diehard as Miami Dolphin fans?
Absolutely not. The Dolphins.
Right.
No, but I will say, growing up in Miami, the Panthers have always been a favorite team, and it's just so cool to see what they're doing.
And just the cherry on top of the cake is back-to-back champions, 2 years in a row. Yeah.
So there's a theory: if they win 3, then they'll win 4. So back to 1975, there's been a pattern.
And then they were also chanting 5 more years. So yeah, look at that! Look at that, Carlo! Look. I mean, I wish I can jump over. I mean, look at that. I think that will look good. I think they'll look good. Look at that. I mean, yeah. Who doesn't want to wear that belt, Brooke?
Chris, I think that's up to you, man. You got to go get it.
Yeah, you know, but I don't have my hurdling shoes on just to jump the fence right here to get to. But look, guys, just a testament of how energized these fans are and the players are.
It's electric out here, the energy.
You heard everyone say it's electric, but it really is. You immerse yourself in this environment and you have nothing but smiles. You have nothing but camaraderie. Good, just super.
We're ready for 2026.
Absolutely. You know, we won 2. Let's do it another year. I mean, I really wanted to put. Yeah. There you go. There you go. There you go. Like, I mean, how perfect does this day get, right? Shane, Todd, I'm going to send it back to you. Everyone just having a great time, great vibe, and as you know, we did everything in our power to keep that rain around, and I think we're doing good as far as that is concerned. We'll send things back to you.
Well, 1 out of 2 isn't bad, Chris. Thank you very much. And Brooke Silverang throwing around that NHL knowledge. She's talking about the Montreal Canadiens in the 70s winning 4 in a row. But you know, when you win 2 in a row, and you've been 3 times in a row, you get to dream.
Yeah, I mean, you can't win 3 in a row without winning 2 in a row.
No,
can't win 4 in a row without winning 3 in a row.
You certainly cannot.
So the Panthers are well on their way to a three-peat and maybe even 4, like LeBron James said when he came to Miami. He was like, maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4.
Right.
And it applies here to the Florida Panthers. Who knows? Sky is the limit, and if they bring back the right players, bring back Paul Maurice, you never know what can happen. Only a fan can dream.
I'm looking at the parade route now in front of us. We're pretty much at the beginning of the parade route, and most of the people have left. Many of them, if not most of them, have actually followed the Cup and the players' buses down to make that turn and get to the park for the giant rally. And we should also add, Brooke and Chris were mentioning the weather today. It happens to be a great beach day, and there are a lot of people just on the beach.
Yeah, people are just enjoying it.
Maybe they didn't know it was happening.
Maybe they didn't know what was happening.
Well, why is there so much traffic?
I mean, we did, I believe in Angela earlier this week, towards the end of the week last week, she spoke to some fans who were here, or some visitors who were here, I should say, that came here. They didn't know what was happening. They saw the elbow room. They're like, what's going on? Like the Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup. They're like, oh, really? We're going to stick around for the weekend. We're going to party a little bit more.
That's a good decision.
Like, you know, the reason to party in South Florida, but, you know, the fans coming here, new fans, because of what happened.
And I should mention, we've mentioned that the elbow room there were fans there at 7 o'clock in the morning. And we did some investigative work, and they were just having oatmeal and eggs.
Oh, wow.
At 7 o'clock in the morning.
That's right.
You know, because they needed to taste themselves.
Yes, an omelet.
I have no idea what's on the menu at the elbow room. I know what's on the menu
at the elbow room. You know what's on the
menu
in the elbow room. It doesn't matter what time it is. It could be 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. Doesn't matter.
And as we drove in on A1A this morning, that early, music was blaring. The restaurants were opened. This party will go on. Not only is there the giant rally in the park around the corner at the end of the parade route, but all these businesses will welcome fans throughout the afternoon and into the evening. They might even get a visit from a Stanley Cup. I don't know.
You never know. This doesn't happen. This doesn't happen very often, and you've really got to enjoy it while you can. If you live in this area, even if you're not a fan of sports or a fan of hockey, you know, it's something that anybody can wrap their hands around if you live in this area. Doesn't matter if you're a fan or not, just something that brings the community together on one accord and cheer for one thing. There's so many things that divide us nowadays. This is one thing that can bring us all together, and we can forget about everything for a little while.
The color is red up and down A1A today. It is Panther red. So many t-shirts, jerseys, hats, flags. I saw a guy this morning in a full-on, body-sized flag of Florida, and it had to be comfortable. I hope it kept him cool, because there's no way to stay cool out here today.
Now, people have been trying to get merch for a while, some merchandise and it's hard to come by, because the team store over at the arena sold out very quickly of the little they did have right after the championship, and it's going to take a little while. I went on Amazon just to see if I can get a t-shirt or something for some family.
Wait a minute, you're the sports director. Don't you get a t-shirt?
I wish they would give us something like that, but
Come on.
We don't get stuff like that. We got to call a guy that knows the guy, but as you can see right there, the Cup right now back on the street.
It's back on the block.
Heading over to
bus.
the fans, yes.
And can you imagine being a fan here at the Victory Parade and getting your hands on the Cup? That's a magic moment for a true hockey fan, to touch the Cup. It's the Holy Grail. It looks a little like a grail.
It does look like
a
grail.
And that's got to be quite a thrill. And again, we're waiting for that Cup to make its way all the way up to the stage at the rally. That'll be the sign that we'll be in full party mode there with hundreds of thousands of people. And we're not going to give a crowd estimate. I think Brooke and Chris were saying at least 200,000. We don't know, but we know they said 200,000 last year, and it rained and there was lightning and people were soaked and some left. And this year, absolutely perfect. And I think in most things, you do it a second time, you do it even better.
Yeah, you got the rain out of the way earlier, a little sun shower, and after that, it's a South Florida day right now. We've got a little wind coming off the ocean, and it's warm, it's hot, but that's why you come to South Florida, to enjoy weather like this, so you can get in the water and enjoy themselves. And people are really enjoying themselves no matter why you came down here today.
Here's the deal: in South Florida, it rains Stanley Cups.
It does.
That's the way it goes.
It does now.
3 finals, 2 cups in a row. We rain Stanley Cups. And this party is going to go on throughout the day. And I'm thinking on a Sunday night, I'm wondering, and I'm not going to make an excuse for anybody, but I'm wondering if some folks may not make it to work tomorrow.
Maybe a lot of call-outs tomorrow. You never know.
Could be.
But a lot of success here in the last couple of years with the Panthers. Even before going to the Stanley Cup against Vegas, they won the President's Cup, as we mentioned, as the best record in the league. So it's 4 years now that this team has been successful. We got a couple of Stanley Cups out of it.
All right, and as this parade goes on and the rally's about to start, we'll take a quick break from our coverage of the Florida Panthers' second Stanley Cup victory parade. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to the parade, the Stanley Cup Victory Parade for the Florida Panthers here on A1A. We're at the Beach House on A1A. The parade has moved on from us, but it's still in full swing, and it's like an all-points bulletin. They're saying, the cup is in the street. The cup is in the street.
The cup is in the street right now, and they're getting closer to the fans. And the closer the cup can get to the fans, the better it is for those who came out and to celebrate.
So the cup is actually a lot closer to Felicia and Angela than it is to us.
Well, they get to touch it right now. Look, there's your $1 million shot right there. The fans are getting to put their hands on it, and once you put your hands on it, you feel like you participated in winning a championship yourself.
That's right. You're actually
give everybody a ring.
Part of the victory.
Exactly.
Everybody gets a ring. Felicia, Angela.
Hey guys, que no pare la fiesta. That's what's playing right now. It is a party right now. The players are getting out. They're coming up to the crowd. They're signing autographs.
when the fans saw the players, some of them got off the buses and they stood up along the wall here along the beach, the crowd went wild, as you can imagine. They don't look like they're tired at all. As a matter of fact, they look like they don't want to stop playing hockey. Look like they want to continue playing hockey and roll right on into next season. But the fans here, as you can hear, this is a big party. We see about 2 more buses heading our way. It seems like a party, and it seems like an event that just keeps on giving.
Yeah. Certainly is. I mean, we've got, I think you said, 3 more buses coming our way, full of players and their families. And I think that might be it after that. I'm not sure. We still can't see the Stanley Cup. So as soon as we see the Stanley Cup, because I heard them say, I heard you guys say, the Stanley Cup is closer to us than it is to you guys. So when we see the Stanley Cup, we'll know that it's, I think I see it. It's on the third bus back there.
Shiny thing?
We can see that shiny thing off in the distance.
You know what? I can tell you one thing. We also saw some of the folks from the city of Sunrise heading here, as well as Fort Lauderdale, and they were showing us 3 fingers. They too want a 3 feet. Back to you guys.
And the guys on the bus were loving it too. They were loving it. This has been such an electric crowd, so much energy here today, and I really think the players are just feeding off of that energy.
And not only the players, but the fans too. I don't think anyone's going to be going to work tomorrow. We're all going to be like having to recuperate after tonight. But you know what? I think that once we all leave for tonight, we will never forget this feeling. We were here last year, and I believe this year was even more.
We keep checking behind us to see if any of the players have gotten on stage yet. They have not. Last year, they let them get on stage early, but this year they're keeping them in the back. We saw VIP tent back behind the stage as we were walking in. We assume that's where they're holding them because none of the players have actually gotten up on stage yet. So we will, of course, keep you posted when we see that happening.
And back to you guys there, out there in Pantherland.
All right, and I think we all also want to point out in this parade crowd, lots of families, lots of kids, little hockey fans. And that's the future of hockey. Obviously, you see new ice rinks being built in South Florida as well because of, if you will, Panther fever. Families have really embraced the team, and there is a family atmosphere in the arena. And when you see the players and their families together on the bus with a cup, that just re-emphasizes what a family sport this can be.
Yeah, it introduces people to the game and introduces people to something they may not have been used to. You see, a lot of kids playing Little League baseball and, soccer growing up. But, hockey is something that they can be introduced to. You never know. The next, Sam Bennett, the next Sam Reinhart, maybe right here in South Florida, and you have more teams that have American-born players or, wherever you're from in South Florida. It's such a melting pot here that you can really enjoy it and, be that next star up and coming here in South Florida.
And I think, again, we are waiting for the rally to officially begin. There are a lot of people who are waiting for the party to come. But right now, it's just the cup is winding its way to the park right now. As I said, here on A1A, they have turned the corner, so they're coming towards where Felicia and Angela are, as well as where Chris and Brooke are. But right now, the cup's going to get there, and the rally's going to start when it wants to.
Yeah, and I'm really interested to hear what the players are going to say and when they take the stage this year. I'm really interested to hear what Paul Maurice has to say when they take the stage this year, because last year they were just happy to win it, happy to bring a cup to South Florida for the first time in franchise history. Now you're kind of in that mode where next year people are really expecting you to win. So the message is probably going to be different this year around, where first you're happy to get here, you're happy to win it, and now like, hey, we expect to do this now on a consistent basis. How do you keep this going from year to year to year? It's not easy. We talked about that. It's not something that happens often, but it's something that you can pursue now that you've gotten this far in the process.
I really wanted to talk to Felicia and Angela about what it's like to be there right in the middle of it, because I think for most people, including all these fans, this is an experience other than last year that most people have never had in any area.
Yeah,
to celebrate a team like this.
You wait so long as a fan, and especially in some sports, if you're a South Florida fan and you're a Miami Heat fan, of course, you had that success here recently getting to the championship, not winning it. The last couple championships coming in the LeBron James era. If you're a Miami Dolphins fan, it's been 30 years, my friend.
Well, let's not harp on that right now. Let's go back to Angela and Felicia for a second. I just wanted to get your perspective of what it's like to be in the middle of that. And Felicia, have you seen anything like this in your life? And Angela, I bet you have. But Felicia, have you been in a situation like this before? This kind of party?
Well, I can tell you one thing. The last time I was in a situation like this, it was pouring, raining, and I couldn't get to enjoy it. This year is a whole different atmosphere, and they're actually pretty close to where we're standing right now. I keep getting distracted while I'm supposed to be doing my job, watching everyone run along the sidewalk, waving to everyone. As you can see right now, personal, and the crowd loves it. They're letting them. Security staying back. The players are being respected. The fans are being respectful to the players, letting them do their thing and enjoy. You see right there? They're just sharing a drink with everybody, having a good old time, and we are in the middle of this. I missed this last year because I was underneath my raincoat.
Oh yeah, this is so much better than last year. I mean, to see the players actually interacting with the crowd, they're loving it. They're taking the beer, putting it in the cup. He's enjoying his beverage of choice, as you can see. The rest of the players and their families are getting off the buses, I believe. Oh wait, no, there's another bus coming down A1A, so we're not done yet.
You know what, Felicia? A lot of people got prepared for today. I ran into a lot of folks at the Pantherland gift shop at the arena yesterday on my way home. It was packed. Everyone was buying shirts, hats, shorts for today to be here, and I think they all came decked out in their Panther gear.
And you know what? I think everybody learned lessons after last year. This is obviously running a lot smoother. The rain from last year didn't help the situation, so to have this beautiful weather today is certainly making a huge difference. The crowd is certainly cooperating. Everyone's enjoying themselves, having a great time. It's hot, but what do you expect in the middle of the summer, right? It's July, after all. We're going to be July. It's still June. Feels like July.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I don't think they're going to want to stop. I mean, as you said, we have another busload heading our way, and I think these folks are going to be here past that 2 o'clock deadline.
You're not kidding. The DJ has been playing some amazing music. The crowd is loving it and soaking it in. I mean, you really could ask for better. We're right across the street from Beau's Beach. They have had a packed crowd. I know Todd and Shane were saying how the restaurants have been open since very early this morning. Their call time must have been about 6 a.m. because they were open for business.
It's funny you mention that because we talked to a lady who owns a hotel a couple of days ago, and she is like, in Hog Heaven right now. She says it's been great, not only last year, but it just keeps getting better and better. And then she said that she definitely, oh, wait a minute, I see the Stanley Cup.
Oh,
sorry,
we see the cup.
Oh, there you go. That's what, I hope Steven is watching.
Yeah. Hey, Steven, we have our eyes on the cup for you. They're lifting the cup.
Oh
and
my
the
goodness.
crowd is going wild for it. They're loving it. Arms in the air.
They're just soaking this in. I don't think the players want to stop. I don't think they know how to stop, to be honest, Felicia.
They've been partying ever since they won. What are you kidding?
Tell me about it.
We even had reports of the wives of the players up in Palm Beach County the other night.
Oh.
Yes.
So it's definitely a family affair.
Well, I mean, it's just a great time to be celebrating. I mean, everybody's just so excited to see that they've done it twice now.
Hey, you know, I heard Shane talking earlier about a three-peat, and everyone that I've been talking to, you know, I love my sports talk radio, they have been saying that it could be a three-peat if everyone's main tag stays together, that we could, you know, formally, you know, really have that dynasty.
You know, we were talking about this in the car. It's like, when are the Panthers finally going to get the respect they deserve? You know, I was watching ESPN the other day, and they're saying Edmonton Oilers are actually favored to win next year's Stanley Cup. I was like, what? It got beat twice. How is that possible?
I know, you know what? You have to understand. I know it's Florida, and when you think hockey, you don't think Florida, you think the Northern, but a lot of the folks on our team are from the North.
The Panthers are just going to have to show them again how we do it here in South Florida.
Well, I think it's coming showing it to everyone on the other side of the street. They're making sure that everybody gets a good glimpse of that Stanley Cup. There they go, right there.
There we go. They brought it out of the truck, out of the bus.
There they go.
And it's walking down the street, down
Walking
A1A.
down A1A.
The crowd is cheering. It'll be making its way over to the stage soon. And it's going by Bo's Beach House, so that crowd will be cheering loudly in just a moment. There they go. They're cheering over there at Bo's Beach House.
They're making sure that fans on both sides of A1A get up close look at that Stanley Cup. And there it is right there.
And now it's across the street. It's making its way over here towards the stage.
Making its way towards the stage. That Stanley Cup with all those names and a little bit of dent. They have it on the big screen as well.
Yeah, and they're showing it up on the big screen for the crowd. Everybody's watching. It's exciting because you know they're about to get the players out. We're told that Marchand has the cup. He's the one that's hoisting it up in the air.
Even though, he's not I think everybody deserves that cup. That was definitely a team effort.
He's in the parking lot right now, behind the stage.
There he goes. He just hoisted it over his head. Everybody's sharing the cup right now. You can see it on the screen right now. They have a big screen. They're behind the set right now with the cup. I believe the players and the families are inside a VIP tent that's right behind the main stage. And once all of these buses get here, they'll be coming over here and they'll be taking their pictures. They'll be breaking their way on stage once they finish taking their pictures and getting off the bus. I think we have,
We've got another bus approaching. Two more buses approaching.
excitement here on Fort Lauderdale Beach. Guess what? Stanley Cup is here, and so are the Florida players. I can tell you now the fans and the players arrive and keep arriving. We see another bus, 2 more buses heading our way. As you can hear the fans, I don't know, I can't even hear myself, but you can hear the fans greeting the players as they pull up in those buses. We've already seen Brad Marchand with the Stanley Cup holding it up, even though he still has some more of his playmates to join him in the fun. Folks here, I guess it's been exciting, right? It's been a good day all day.
This has been a fun party, let me tell you. I mean, we watched them come down about a mile on A1A. We saw the Stanley Cup, as you mentioned, Brad Marchand carrying that Stanley Cup, hoisting it over his head, walking it back there towards the VIP tent. They're all waiting back there for everybody to get off of these buses. And then they'll take the stage and begin their program and talk to the crowd. What they say will be interesting. We still have a few more buses and perhaps a few more players and their families that are going to be coming up. I see 1, 2, perhaps 3 more buses. This is a lot more buses than last year.
Yes, most definitely. And you know, when we saw some of the buses parked here earlier, and when the wives and girlfriends got off the bus, they went backstage and they were posing with the Stanley Cup. They got to get their private picture with the Stanley Cup. I can tell you, as you said earlier, we saw dignitaries also arriving here at the parade. I'm really curious to see about that bet that the Sunrise City mayor made to the Edmonton Oilers mayor about if we win, they have to wear our jersey and declare one of their days Florida Panther Day. I wonder if they're going to do that in Edmonton.
You know, and to see their kids with them as well. I mean, how exciting this is for their children to actually witness and see their father, you know, enjoying this moment. I mean, it's so exciting. And a lot of these players are getting off the buses, shaking hands with the players, talking, you know, to the fans. It's been an exciting time. Such a wonderful time.
I know it was kind of hard, like I said earlier, to recognize who they were. I did recognize LaShawn. I did recognize Big Bob, our fabulous goalie. I did see a couple of other players, but for the most part, they look different. They're all clean shaven.
They shaved, they're shirtless. You're like, wait a minute, I'm used to seeing you with clothes on.
Exactly. But I can tell you, it doesn't matter what they wear, they're shameless or not. They're excited, everybody's excited. Trust me, the fans out here, they know who they are. They recognize everyone regardless if they're clean shaven or not.
I mean, this crowd has been so wonderful, you know, so endearing. They're so endearing. I mean, and they have been here since 6 o'clock this morning, so many of them, because they knew once you're in here, you're not getting out of this area.
Exactly. Now we're still waiting for the, I think this may be the last bus, but I don't want to say that. I said that about 3 or 4 buses ago. Once the buses get here, they are letting them off here by the red carpet, which is behind the stage. I did see a VIP tent earlier, and I'm assuming that's where everyone is right now because it's really hot out here, and that's an AC inside that tent so they can relax for a bit, wipe their faces, get rid of the beer or whatever else is dripping on their faces, and then head on stage. And here is that final bus, I believe, that's arriving right now.
We have another bus, and I got to tell you, with these condos and hotels that line A1A, some of these people who live in these condos have some of the best seats because they're, you know, just hanging out over these balconies watching all of the action. And they've got a great spot, all these folks, Angela, who are just hanging out over these balconies.
Yeah, I wonder if they were there last year when it was raining and lightning. I kind of doubt it, but hey, you never know. I talked to a gentleman. She said his wife is a lifeguard. He didn't have the guts to tell her that it was lightning because he knew that she would yell at him and say, get out of there. But you know what? He said he's happy to stay. He's happy to hear this year.
I know it's hot and the sun's beating down on us, but I'll take this over the rain and the thunder and lightning that you guys had to deal with last year. Exactly. Those storms were no joke last year.
Exactly. This is the greatest. I guess that's what happens when you repeat, right?
This is wonderful. I mean, it was funny because we were watching the crowds huddling under that huge tent, the drinks sang, and then as soon as we saw the signs of the parade coming down A1A closer to us, everybody ran from the tent and just was scooting up as far as they could to catch a glimpse of the players.
You know, I've seen some fans that I've seen before. I saw Muscle Man. He was around here with a little muscle suit, and he had his camera in his hand as well, and taking pictures of fans. He was taking pictures of the players as well. So I think everyone's cheering down there. I don't know what I'm missing, But it must be something
Oh,
good
there's
because
some players that are
Another
cheering with
man.
the fans. Yeah,
Oh,
they're
I
cheering
see
on some
that.
of the players down there.
I can't make out who it is. He's so far away.
Can't make out who it is. It's so hard to tell who they are now with their hats on. They've shaved. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see.
Yeah, he's walking along the wall. He's giving all the fans a high five. They're all taking their photos, trying to get a selfie.
I've lost my IFB, so you're going to have to.
And we also have helicopters, and we've seen drones, so it's going to be some good video for everyone after this is over if you missed this celebration today. Now we see the players. They're walking in the middle of the street. They've gotten off the bus. They're waving again to the fans. There you go. There you go. Oh, they're signing autographs. Signing autographs here.
That's awesome, signing autographs. Todd and Shane, I don't know if you guys can hear us. We've just been having some trouble with our IFBs.
We can hear you. Felicia, Angela, we can hear
Okay,
you.
I just wanted to be able to bring you guys in a little bit.
Excellent.
We can definitely hear you.
Now I think
We've had some players coming in there. Is that Kachuk right there?
Looks like they're drinking from the
Careful, there are replicas out there too.
With the crowd. Smoking a cigar. He's got a small Stanley Cup in his hand. Pouring his drink of choice, looks like a beer. Puffing on a cigar.
Drink of choice.
And the crowd is loving him.
Got a cigar in his hand with that drink. The fans are just loving this. They're not letting the heat stop them. They're not letting the crowd get in their way. Fans are just...
That was very cute, if you guys were able to see that. He's enjoying it for sure. He's just taking it all in. As he should. 2 in a row. And we still have a couple of more people coming. I see some rigs with players on there. I think we're going to toss to a break right now. You're watching WPBF's 25 coverage of the championship celebration from Fort Lauderdale. We'll be right back after this.
Shane right here with Todd McDermott, our coverage on the Parade of Champions. Stanley Cup champions back-to-back, the Florida Panthers. And Todd, what a day it's been. The parade's gone past us where we are, where it started, but these fans came out
feel a little
very
left out
early.
now.
I know, right? We feel a little left out, but we're still here, and the celebrations continuing by the stage. We'll head back there in a moment, but man, what a day it's been.
It has been an amazing day, and again, the weather's been perfect. The fans been perfect. This has been such a great party, and it continues down the street where our crews are. We'll go back to them in just a moment. Such an amazing display of affection for this team. Really, people really feel the connection to the Florida Panthers, and to have the achievement of winning 2 cups in a row, and something we talked about much earlier in this telecast was Brad Marchand. Now, he came to the team late in a trade with the Boston Bruins, and our friend Stephen Graves, our morning anchor, got a little bit of flack from Felicia and Angela for not seeing the Stanley Cup right behind him. I don't think that's fair, because at the same time, he was right below us here where we are at this rooftop hotel on the street when Brad Marchand got out of the bus.
Yep.
And again, he's been here for about 100 days.
Right, and
in South Florida.
The fans have really embraced him.
How could you not embrace a player like that?
I mean, he's not a big guy, so
No.
he probably relates to more regular people, because a lot of these hockey players are huge,
right?
Especially Nico Mikkola, huge guy. But Brad Marchand's about, I don't know, my height, 5'10".
Even with the skates
5'9".
on, he's not that big a guy.
He's not that big, but he's quick, he's crafty, he's fast, and he's 37 years old, considered an elder statesman in hockey. He came over from Boston after spending 16 years in that jersey. You know how much they love their fans, I love their players up there.
Yeah.
He was a fan favorite there. A lot of fans did not want to see him leave, but what you did see, especially on social media, was Brad Marchand fans, Boston Bruin fans, congratulating Marchand. Right. They weren't salty about it. They weren't throwing hate his way. That's how much they love
their players.
That's how much they love their players. That's how much they love Brad Marchand. It tells you the kind of person he was, the kind of player he was to that franchise for so long, almost 2 decades in that jersey.
And that affection is now going both ways between Florida Panthers fans and Marchand. And when he got out of the bus and started talking to fans, signing autographs, doing his thing, Stephen Graves was right there and talked to him. Take a look.
Tell us what it's been like, really quickly.
Can't explain it. It's unbelievable. It's the best feeling in the world. It's a dream come true.
And South Florida is something different, right? Like the energy's different.
They do it right down here. It's pretty damn special.
Really is special, and this is such a special day for Panther fans and for the community as well, to actually have this kind of party and have people come together, hundreds of thousands of people, to celebrate all the chanting, all the bagpipes, all the drum beats. It's been an amazing time, and now that we can hear the drum beats away from us, down A1A, around the corner where that rally is about to start as the players have gathered. But you can't say enough about what the players have been able to accomplish and their connection with their fans and their connection to that cup, which they will not let go of anytime soon. Let's go back to Felicia and Angela, who are down there with the fans right at the edge of the rally. Ange, Flea?
You know what? I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted, and I'm not even the one on stage or the ones in these vans or these buses. This place is out of control, Felicia. As we saw earlier, I think there are more people here this year than there were last year. Not only just fans, but also it seems like there are more fans or either more people from the front office. Maybe the rain kept them away last year, or they decided not to come in the parade. But I mean, this is outstanding. What do you think?
This is like the parade that never ends. There's more players. They just keep on coming. I can't see the end of it, but again, I think they're waiting for everybody, because I continue to see the players and their families walking along the carpet there, making their way towards the back, and they've got the screens up, so we see them walking towards the back. Some of them have actually made their way into the ocean. It looks like when you look at the screen, you're like, wait, are they going to the VIP tent or are they going into the water? So who knows? Not sure when this is actually going to start. So we're just waiting at this point. We see there's another bus now, a Broward County Transit bus that's pulled up. So we have some more people that are actually going to be getting off. There's a military or a police SWAT vehicle, and that actually might be the last vehicle.
That looks like
or one of the last vehicles. That looks like it might be the last one.
But I can tell you what we have not seen today. Edmonton Oilers fans even though after we won the championship, when I was in the arena, I talked to some Edmonton Oilers fans. Some of them were, well, all of them were sad, but they also were, you know, I thought that the Panthers did a good job and they appreciated the Panthers. And again, they were also optimistic, saying that we'll see you again next year. But as you say, you've been hearing that people are predicting that the Oilers will take it next year, but I beg to differ, not only because, you know, we're the great team, but because it's Florida and we've got this hockey game now.
You know, we talked earlier about security and how tight security was and how many different law enforcement agencies we saw. Earlier this morning, they were all at the park, kind of stationed there before they broke out. Fort Lauderdale Police has been awesome. The crowd was actually cheering for the police as they walked down A1A. We have the mounted unit here. We've seen law enforcement actually walking along with the players, protecting them, and just kind of walking through the crowd to make sure that everything is going smoothly and that everybody's behaving themselves. We have not heard of anything. You know, everything seems to be going smoothly.
And I guess that's exactly how they wanted it to go, because there was an extra police presence here this year. I didn't see the force that we saw in that parking lot when we drove up last year. More police, and they even looked like they had National Guard here as well, helping police. And I think that helped everyone in their place. And no one even got out of hand. They respected the law enforcement that was here as well. And as you can see, folks aren't leaving. I'm guessing that the folks who are at the front of the line are now trying to make their way back here to see the actual rally. I understand they're going to be in for a treat. We'll wait and see. Still waiting for the players to take the stage. I think they're trying to triple us on this right now. But not only do we have the fans here land, we have the fans there in the ocean.
Actually, I don't want to interrupt you, Angela, but finally starting to see some players actually taking the stage there. That's the first time that we're actually seeing some players getting on the stage because they were actually looking at the court.
You know what? I was listening to my Sports Talk Radio yesterday, and all of them are here. They're broadcasting live from here, and they all are optimistic that all of the players are going to come back. Obviously, they're going to be some with some type of, contract issues that may not come back. But for the most part, they believe that they all will come back, and that's good to know because you like to have a team that stays here. I even heard that some of the players are willing to take a pay cut to come here to stay together and to get a seat.
It's been a fun morning, a fun afternoon. It's got to be a long day for these guys. It's been an even longer day for these fans who've been out here since 6 or 7 o'clock this morning. They had to kind of stake their claim. They put up their tents, their chairs, their blankets, just to be out here early.
They even practiced drinking from the Stanley Cup. There were fans filling up their fake Stanley Cup, that's what it was. And they were passing it along, preparing for the actual players to get here with the real Stanley Cup. And they did not disappoint. I mean, we're still waiting, and I don't think there are any more buses, but nobody is leaving. We did see Stanley, the Panther. He did arrive on the Zamboni earlier, and he was looking sharp as ever. I don't know how he's keeping cool, though, with all that but whatever. It's hard to look good in the heat.
I was surprised about that, too. I was like, wow, we think we're hot. Imagine how hot Stanley C. Panther is.
Oh, yeah, they're starting to, I guess they're starting to...
yeah, they're trying to get the crowd hyped up there.
Well, yeah, they're going to try and pump up the fans, but that won't be hard at all. It won't be difficult at all. They're already pumped up. They're just waiting for the main attraction.
Well, I think we're going to toss it back to you, Todd and Shane.
All right, Felicia, thank you. Angela, thank you. We'll go back to Felicia and Angela in just a moment. They are right there at the party. I want to take a minute to remind you that once our coverage of the parade ends here, we do continue our coverage online for you on all our platforms, WPBF.com, a very local app, our news app as well. Remember, we will bring you everything that happens at the rally as well. We'll leave our coverage here along the now lonely parade route on A1A, which probably will be full of fans again once that rally breaks out and they start heading down to all these various restaurants and bars along the street here. But what a day here in Fort Lauderdale. It's everything that Fort Lauderdale city officials could have wanted as far as the parade, and the weather cooperating.
Yeah, they did cooperate. Didn't cooperate last year, but did cooperate this year. And look at this. Look at this scene. Like, this is something that you don't get to see. We don't get to celebrate often. And the fans are out. People are out enjoying themselves, and not as if need another reason to celebrate in South Florida or to have fun and to be out at the beach and spending the day. And all of these players, most of these players are from different areas.
Way different areas.
We got
different countries.
Different countries, Finland and Sweden, and some from Canada, and a very international roster. A lot of the NHL is made up that way, but they feel like they're South Floridians now because of a lot of them live here, of course, and spend the season here, and a lot of them live here in the off season. So they've become South Floridians. They've embraced the culture. The culture has embraced them, and they're really enjoying themselves of being a Florida Panther. I think that's why you heard Sam Bennett say, "I'm going to be here prematurely," because it's going to be hard for him
before negotiations.
Before anybody has come out and said anything about negotiating, because he is a unrestricted free agent and really could go anywhere. He's making about a little bit over $4 million. A lot of people are saying that he could double that. He could get up to $10 million in the open market.
Can't do that in Florida, though, right, with this team?
Well, I'm not sure. I don't think there's $19 million in cap space for the Panthers. They can use it any kind of way. But if they can work something out with him, one thing that we talked about is how Bill Zito has put this roster together. He's worked his magic to fit everybody under the cap, and that's probably something that he thought about during the regular season, how to bring Sam Bennett and some of the other free agents back, but it became more of a priority, of course, in the playoffs when you see how big of an addition and how big of a reason Sam Bennett was.
Such a factor and such a goal scorer.
This is a guy that some said he was a kind of a cast-off from other teams. Seth Jones, Chicago Blackhawks, didn't have a good run to end there, but they've come here and have been successful. And Matthew Tkachuk came over in 2022 via trade, and that's how this roster is built up, via trade. And of course, the captain Alexander Barkov drafted here, so we got a mixture of drafted players that come by free agency, and players that have been added to the roster that have really made this roster what it is.
It is amazing to hear Barkov talk about winning this with his team 2 seasons in a row. Because I remember when he was a rookie.
Yeah,
and that
wasn't pretty those years.
No, that was 10 years ago, and it was a different team, a different outlook for the Florida Panthers.
Right.
People weren't talking about Stanley Cups.
No, they were just really happy to make the playoffs. Really, we had some success again early in the franchise's baby years, as I like to call it, and then a drought for a while, a playoff drought for a while. Not too long after that, and then Barkov came along. He was with this team when they weren't that successful, and then you saw the changes started being made, and really turned this thing around the last 4 years when they won the President's Cup, went to the Stanley Cup with Vegas, and Vegas was just a better team that year. Changes were made, come back the next year, and then come back the year again. Next year after that again, back to back against Edmonton, and you saw exactly what a team will be able to do when the roster is constructed the right way, when the culture is constructed the right way, and when things are meant to be the right way. We want to take a look back now on how the Panthers got here, how this team was built, and how this back-to-back Stanley Cup team was made. The franchise that went 13 out of 14 years between 2000 and 2014. My, how things have changed.
The blood, the sweat, the tears, literally, like being able to throw my gloves up, lift that cup. I can't imagine. I can't believe I'm here.
Unbelievable. Like it's a lot of pressure, a lot of sleepless nights, and
you dream of this as a kid, right? And I can't really believe it's here, right? But
the winding road to triumph, beating the Lightning in 5 games, the Maple Leafs in 7, the Hurricanes in 5, and the Oilers in 6. Those who won the cup on this team last year, allowing the players who've never won to lift it first.
That's what makes these men special. To be aware of that, they're just not selfish at all. They don't need the camera time. They're not trying to put themselves, there's no pecking order.
I'm a champion forever with these guys, and it's amazing. I'm so happy we got to do it, because I'm emotionally drained, I'm physically drained. It was the hardest thing I had to do ever in my life.
The word special, defined as something otherwise different from what's usual. We'll take a good look at this year's Florida Panthers, Stanley Cup champions in 2025. There's a good chance you'll never see a group this special again.
Watching these guys interact with each other, that's been the gift to this place. That's been the best thing for me.
Paul Maurice is such a hard-nosed coach, and to see the emotion, especially this year, I think he was a little bit maybe stunned last year to finally have a cup, and there was a relief, a career relief for him. But this year you saw the emotion, how much he treasures his time among these players.
And they speak so highly of him. The players really love him. And Yanni and I joke all the time when we listen to his interviews. We try to find sound bites for the news, and it's hard to find a sound bite. He doesn't speak in sound bites. He doesn't give you coach talk. He thinks about the question that you ask him, and he speaks from his heart. He speaks from his years and years of experience in the league. He doesn't just tell you what you want to hear, and the players really respect that in a coach, and they put it all on the ice for him and obviously for the guy next to them in the locker room, and that's how you build a championship roster. It's something special to watch. Just being a fan of sports, you really got to appreciate it.
And I think that's something we saw. We talked about this earlier about them hitting another gear in the playoffs. You saw a team that played well. They were defending Stanley Cup champions. They got in the playoffs, and they went into sixth.
Yeah, and it didn't matter if they were at home or on the road. We talked about they had the most playoff wins on the road in NHL history. When they left Emmer Bank Arena and Sunrise and went on the road, they took the show on the road, and it's because of the togetherness of the team why you can do that. If you've got a broken up team and these guys are connected, when you go on the road, you might be bumping heads.
Right.
Certain players play better at home. Not with this team. Everybody plays well on the road or at home. It didn't matter for this team, and it's a testament to the roster that was put together, the management, and the camaraderie around the team.
As we've been saying, 10 road wins during these playoffs, NHL record. Our coverage is going to continue. We're going to take you to the big rally with the players on stage at Fort Lauderdale Beach Park in just a moment. Right now, we'll take a break. You're watching WPBF 25 News, live coverage of the Stanley Cup Victory Parade for the Florida Panthers, Part 2.
WPBF 25 coverage of the championship victory parade. We are live in Fort Lauderdale, and as you can see, the stage is behind us, and the players are taking the stage right now. We've seen a bunch of them on stage. You can see they actually just had Stanley C. Panther take the stage as well. He was on drums just a few moments ago.
Oh my goodness. This day, I don't know. I don't know if it's exactly what I was anticipating, but it has exceeded what I was anticipating, and that's a good thing. It has been so electric, and you can hear right now, a little Belafonte.
There they go. They're getting the crowd involved. They're getting them hyped up for the players.
Oh my goodness, Felicia, I don't know how we can compete against that. I mean, they said it all. That's how excited they are today.
I know, it's been such a fun day. The DJ's been playing great music. This crowd has really been having a lot of fun.
And there goes the chant.
There goes the chant. Let's go Panthers.
And you can see who's banging the drum today. It is Stanley C. Panther. He is our guest drummer today.
All we do is win. I'm telling you, they're on point with the music, that's for sure.
They are definitely up. And they stay there. They're staying there with the right music here today because it's so fitting for this group and it's so fitting for the crowd who is as excited as the players here today.
These are loyal fans, I'll tell you. You know, earlier Todd said that they had the best seat in the house, and they may have a great aerial view, but this is where the party is, Angela.
Most definitely. They started early. As you know, we got here, they were already packed, already ready for this moment. The players were here early too, as a matter of fact, ready for this moment, and now we're just waiting for all of them to make their way on stage with their families so they can have their rally presentation for their loyal fans who are out here today.
I mean, we can't hear a thing. We can't hear each other. We can't hear our producer talking to us. We can't hear anybody else. So we're just talking right now.
You know what, Felicia, I noticed one thing. There are a lot of young people out here today, and that says a lot for this team. They're starting them young, and they're going to be here throughout the years.
We've gotten really good at reading lips today. That's it.
You know, I saw them also in the Pantherland
Panthers
shop.
fans,
They know
here
all
they
the players.
are, your Stanley
here they
Cup
go.
champion,
I guess that's my cue to be quiet.
And there's the team. They're introducing the Panthers players. Taking the stage.
That may have been a false alarm. About the kids. You know, they were at the Pantherland shop, and they know all the names of the players. Like, they know their faces. I was very impressed.
Coast Guard helicopter flying very close to the coastline kind of scared us all.
Looks like the Coast Guard are getting in on the action here today. Well, now everyone is making their way closer up to the stage. They were behind us, but they're all kind of making their way south of where we are right here on the risers, wanting to get a closer glimpse of their favorite players.
Yeah, they're flying up and down the coast. Looks like they just made a turn and they're coming back, flying north. A lot of boats also have kind of this floating low. Oh, they're flying right over the stage, right over the crowd. Wow. What is going on?
Oh my goodness, I can't believe that. Well, actually, I can't believe that. It's the Florida Panthers, and that's how they roll.
That's how they roll, right.
Everybody is, I think I can see more people joining the players on the stage, and I'm told they're going to be starting any moment.
Gentlemen, the Stanley Cup!
Lord Stanley needs no introduction, but
No,
he's
he
got
doesn't.
one.
MVP, 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 MVP.
Well, there's the Conn Smythe. We know who the MVP is. That would be
The Conor Smythe trophy as well.
Right. And there goes Stanley right next door. They're bringing Stanley next to it. Everybody knows what that is. The little cup with all the names around that ring. I think we have all the players there right now.
And we were told that the Stanley Cup was going to be repaired in time for this parade.
Most definitely.
And now, fans, let's look back at the journey of this remarkable playoff run.
And that fan there, that young
Right
fan,
now,
you
they're
see him
taking
at the games all the time. Felicia and Angela, yeah, you see that little fan there all the time, and they show him on the Jumbotron a lot of times, and really a fan favorite at each of the games, and at least the games I've been to, he's always there.
This is obviously it's like a hype reel for this season and the playoffs. The amazing run Panthers had in the playoffs to take their second Stanley Cup. And as you can hear, again, they're getting the players on stage. Any player who wants to speak will be able to speak. They'll pass that cup around. We'll hear from Coach Paul Maurice as well. But this is a recap of everything they did this season. Just a magical season for the Florida Panthers.
Yeah, Todd, and usually this season, during the season, they're really reserved. When you talk to them in the locker room, they say all the right things. I'm not sure they're going to say all the right things today. They've had a long last couple of days.
It will be emotional.
It's going to be emotional, and they're going to enjoy themselves as they should after a long season like this. No matter what you do in life, when you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor, you got to be happy for anyone who gets to enjoy it. And today's the day to do that.
And let me tell you, there is a banner plane flying the beach here. And Hard Rock is asking if you'd like to make a bet on the three-peat, 3 in a row, for the Florida Panthers. And with about 90 seconds left, what are the chances the Panthers keep this team tight, stay away from injuries, and do this again?
Yeah, you said the right word, stay away from injuries. They didn't have major injuries, and that's part of the reason why they were able to make it back-to-back Stanley Cup titles. And the summer, the rest of the summer, and before training camp starts, which is going to be right around the corner, this team has played a lot of hockey over the last couple of years because they've gone well into the postseason, but they're going to get their rest. The management and President Bill Zito, he's going to do what he's paid to do, is to put the best team back on the ice again. He's going to be charged with that. He's done the best job he could, and he's shown it is that he can do it. He can put the best roster together again, and I think all the Panthers fans have faith that Sam Bennett will be back, and some of the other guys. We'll see what happens with Brad Marchand, and we'll see what happens.
They have played a lot of hockey, and now they've had a lot of Stanley Cup victory parades, 2 in a row, maybe a third. That's going to conclude our coverage here from the parade route on A1A here on Fort Lauderdale Beach. But the rally continues. You can see our coverage online at WPBF.com, the very local app, our news app as well. We want to thank our entire production crew for everything they've done today, both back in the booth and here on top of the Beach House Hotel by Hilton on A1A. Thank you all very much. And to all our teammates, Stephen, Felicia, Angela, Chris, Brooke as well, and the photographers. It's been a great day. Celebrating the Panthers continues online for you. Thanks so much for joining us today. Have a great Sunday. Go Cats!
I stood up here like a dumb guy and I said, enjoy this, it's once in a lifetime. Sorry. Not when you got Sergei stopping pucks, it's not once. Not when you got Reiner with a 4-goal clincher, it's not once. Not when you got Gadjo and Greer banging around, it's not once. And not when you have the Secretary of Defense, Gus Forsling, back there. It's not once. And not when we have all of you, the great South Florida fans and the great Panthers fans. So forget about it being once in a lifetime, because guess what, world? They're back. Now, last year the weather wasn't so great, but I'm looking around this year and I don't see any lightning. I don't even see any hurricanes in the forecast. There sure as hell ain't no maple leafs on the beach. And I'm looking over at the beautiful Atlantic. I don't see any oil in the ocean, do you? Now, these guys on the stage, great players, great team, great character. And because as good as they are on the ice, they're even better people off the ice, which is saying something. The accomplishment is amazing, folks. Second straight Stanley Cup, the most goals in a postseason since 1991, and the fourth most ever. These guys somehow scored 94 goals in the playoffs. Are you kidding me? In a second straight Cup final win over Edmonton, they led for nearly 256 minutes. That's a finals record. They outscored their opponents in the playoffs by 38 goals. That's the most in 3 decades. And they lifted the trophy at Amerant Bank Arena on home ice 2 years in a row. That hasn't happened in nearly 40 years. And with all that, the after party may have trumped it. It's possible. Ownership, management, coaches, players, medical staff, equipment staff, every one of them has a hand in this championship, and so do all of you. So let's get started. You heard enough of me. I did tell Stanley, let's just stay home, baby, so he figured we'll stick around, you know? He's a little bit away from Staten Island. The United States Military Academy, West Point class of 2002. U.S. Army Captain, Panthers President and CEO, Matt Caldwell. Come on up.
Who wants a third cup? Talk to me. You guys are absolutely amazing. This beach is rocking right now. Special thanks to Fort Lauderdale. Amazing job setting this up, our police and fire. Absolutely amazing, Broward County. Thank you for investing us. On behalf of the Viola family, our ownership, I've had the privilege to stand in front of all of you. So humbled that the family chose me to be here with all of you. It's just an amazing, amazing job that all of you supporting us, watching these great warriors behind us. I'm going to turn it over to them in a little bit, but I want to address one thing that I've seen out in the media. So, have you guys heard some of this rhetoric that the reason why the Panthers are winning is because there's no state taxes in Florida, right? Have you guys heard this? The media, some of the big markets, Biz Idiot is out there saying that. All these folks say, now it's a nice little benefit. It's a great benefit, don't get me wrong. But let me tell you the real reason why we've won 2 straight cups and we're gonna be going for a third. First, it starts with great ownership. We got the best general manager in the NHL, Bill Zito. We got the best coach in the league, Paul Maurice. We got the best captain in the league, Sasha Barkov. And obviously we have the best fans, the best team. You see how these guys bond together. See this beautiful place that we're here with yachts and beautiful boats and the greatest fans in the world. So thanks to all of you. Thank you for supporting us. Let's go win another one, all right, fans? All right, it's my privilege to introduce the best hire that the Viola family and myself have ever had in our career, and obviously at the Panthers. The architect of our roster, our general manager, Bill Zito.
Thanks, Matt. So, hey, come on, that's okay. So, my message today is one of thanks. And there's a couple layers to who we need to thank to be able to be here today. First and foremost, it's these men. It's these players, these coaches, who are extraordinary individuals, our staff, our scouts, Leo from the dining room, everybody gets together. And if you came to see us and you walked into the room, you wouldn't know who the superstar was or who the other guy was. And it's a blessing, and I can't say thank you enough to all you guys. It's a true honor. Next, the Viola family. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for empowering us to try to be good. I want to thank you guys, because the relationship between the players and the fans here, it's real, it's sincere. When you have guys getting off buses to run around and high five, when you have, I see the conversations between the players and the fans, and the players know the guy from last week. Yeah, I remember you. It's wonderful, it's real, and I can't say thank you enough, and I want to give you guys a round of applause. And last, but certainly not least, I'd like to thank our families. We're away an inordinate amount of time. We're not always there for our kids. We're not at every game or every practice. We're not there every night. And our wives, our spouses, our children do this for us. So I'd like to invite Teresa, Mrs. V, come up. And I'd like to invite all of the wives to come up right here, right now. My beautiful wife, Julie, I can't thank her enough. And Mrs. V is going to toast everybody.
Here's to the better half, the wives.
Thank you, guys. You're awesome. Look at this. And by the way, I don't want to get killed at home, so a happy birthday to my wife, Dana, today. Yeah. Right in the front row. You know, they don't get any classier. They do not get any better. He does more. He claims he just stands behind the bench in a suit, but trust me, that's not true. Not one, but the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion coach, Paul Maurice.
So all we've proved in the last 5 minutes is the men behind me have no chance at dating those girls unless we're playing professional hockey. No chance. And all the women know what I'm talking about. The men are going, fucking right, boy, you have no idea. So, and I didn't check with the Viola family, and I should have, and I didn't check with the players, but a proclamation from the Florida Panthers today in of love. So here we know this. In the history of man, there is no chance there have ever been this many cat lovers in one spot. So those of you who find people that braved the weather last year, you saw a cat in the front and a cat on the back. I got 2 cats on the front. That's Poppy, that's Penny, and there's only one way a grown man at 58 gets on a stage in front of 500,000 people, is if your daughter made me. My daughter made us. As you can understand. But in truth, so we leave here today together. The men behind me love you. All of you love the men behind me. So we will ask this of you, the police officers and the first responders, for all they do to keep us out of harm's way. This summer, let's keep them out of harm's way. That will be our gift to all these people. All of you are a gift to us. I hope these men behind you gave a gift to you that you will carry forever. So now I would like to introduce your captain, these men's captain, and the captain, Mr. Sasha Barkov.
First out of the corner, then back behind the net with Orlov all over, and Barkov breaks free to the front of the net, back in feet, Verhagen, he scores! Here's a shot, score! Sasha Barkov!
All right. Let me start with the way I ended last year. Let's do it again. Bobby. 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 Thank you. I still have more to say. Thank you guys for coming. I know it's a little better day today than it was last year, but still, this is amazing. What a day we're having right now with you guys. I want to say thank you to you, but first of all, I know maybe thank you to my team, but first of all to the equipment guys. Medical guys, without you guys, we would not be here. And then strength and conditioning guys. We had to travel so much this year. We traveled to Finland, we traveled to Edmonton, and these guys made our lives easier and made our bodies ready to perform on the ice. So we would not be here without those guys. So thank you. Thank you. And I've been, for the last couple days, after the trip to 11, I've been thinking, who am I gonna introduce next? And like, I would love to bring every single person here, but I have to bring Rhino here.
Steal, nice move, comes to the net, scores! From right side, Reinhart to the open net, he scores! It's a hat trick!
The most empty netter highlights I've ever seen in my life. The only thing I've heard all day is how this is the best parade that's ever been happened in South Florida. Thank God I missed last year and not this year. I'm gonna keep this real short and sweet because as Barky noted, the other night at 11 I had the mic for 45 minutes too long. in honor of DJ Khaled, we the best! And I mean that! Another one!
Next up, he came here 3 years ago. He walked through the door and everything changed. The guts, the grind, the talent, 3 Eastern Conference titles, 2 Stanley Cup wins, the product of Big Walt and Chantel, Matthew Tkachuk. Tkachuk now shoots, he scores again! Tkachuk ka-ting! Tkachuk waits, shoots, scores!
I could get used to this. Oh, man. No, Thank you. No, I just have a few people to thank right now. Today's parade it continues to be one of the best days of my entire life. So the police and the firemen and everybody here, thank you guys so much for making it some of the most fun and safe and these are memories I'm gonna have for the rest of my life. But there's 2 people that put their absolute nuts on the line for me to come here, and that's Vinny Viola and Bill Zito. So thank you guys. Me getting traded here honestly changed my life forever, and I have all of you to thank. So thank you. I didn't have anything prepared today like the rest of everybody, but I was talking to Gustav Forsling in the back, and we thought about one of my favorite lines ever, and it was, I would like to apologize to absolutely fucking nobody, because the double champ does whatever the fuck he wants. And with that being said, I want to call up the best defenseman in the league, Gustav Forsling, baby.
Thank you, guys. First of all, I want to thank, obviously, the Viola family. Thank you so much. Thank you. And Bill Zito, who brought me here. Off waivers. Thanks, Carolina. And then, obviously, I want to thank my partner in crime, Aaron Ekblad. Get up here.
On the circle, Tkachuk in front line, hard Ekblad shot, he scores! A power play goal, and it's one for the highlight reel. Stahl lost the puck. Star! Aaron Ekblad!
It's funny, after 11, my agent called me and he said, make sure you don't say whatever Benny said. You gotta hold on to that leverage, eh, Benny? All I have to say is thank you. Thank you, fans. Thank you, my teammates. Thank you, Vinny. 11 fucking years. You believed in me. Billy, you believed in me. Dale Talon, all the people that believed in me to come in and do what I do and do what we do fucking best. Thank you. Thank you. I have a bracelet on. Can anybody guess what it says? Fuck you, Brooks Koepka. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Have fun. Enjoy.
Hecky, the Panthers have played in 4 Stanley Cup finals. We've won twice, but this is the first time we got a Conn Smythe trophy. The playoffs are his time to shine. No one in NHL history has scored more goals on the road in a playoff year. Toughness and determination are just in his DNA. Sam Bennett, playoff Sam!
The Conn Smythe Trophy goes to the most valuable player in the playoffs. It's only fitting that this year it goes to the leading goal scorer, Sam Bennett.
MVP, MVP.
Thank you, guys. No, this is... This is truly incredible. I mean, you know, a lot of people they don't like the way we play. They don't like, they call us dirty. They call us nasty. They call us bullies. So no, I would like to take this time to apologize to absolutely fucking no one. We're the double champs. We do what the fuck we want. Let's go! Eight more years, please.
Sam Bennett, beauty. When all else fails, he's there to back it up. He's going to the Hockey Hall of Fame. He's won 2 Vezinas. He's now got 2 cups. You know how to do it. Bobby, Bobby, Bobby. Sergei Bobrovsky, the brick wall.
Here's Nugent Hopkins with a shot. Save made. Rebound, Perry. Slot Chernak in front. Makes a move. Save Bobrovsky. The rebound. Oh, what a save.
What's up, South Florida? What an amazing day today. Thank you guys all for coming. It's been a great year, great playoff, and great victory. I think I like to get together at this time of the year. I think with this unbelievable ownership, with great management, with the great coaching staff, this fantastic group of guys, with incredible you guys, with incredible fans, and with the blessing from the guides, God, we can all be together here next year. You guys are the best.
You got good at the one-word chant, so our next speaker, I just need 3 words. Thank you, Boston.
I couldn't hear you. This is very unexpected. So I got a lot to say. This has been unbelievable. I never could have imagined being part of something so special. I'm so happy that I don't have to play against these guys anymore. And I'm so happy I don't have to worry about getting knocked out by Benny anymore. I just want to thank everyone who is part of bringing me here. It's been an incredible experience. There's a lot of different people involved, but thank you. This has been an incredible experience. There's been a lot going on the last few days. Actually, Benny and Chucky both saw my speech, so we've kind of had a few mottos going on. First off, boys, thanks for fucking bringing it. And second, if you can't handle it, don't win. Let's go.
One more time, the entire 2025 Stanley Cup champion, Florida Panthers, as they salute you, the great Panther fans. The whole team, come on up.
And bad mistakes, I've made a few. I've had my shadows and kicks in my bed, but I've come through. And I need to go on. We are the champions, my friend.
Jonesy, 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 Jonesy.
Everything that goes, I thank you all, but it's been no bed of roses, no pleasure cruise. I consider it a challenge before the human race, and I ain't gonna lose. We are the champions, my friends. Keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions.
We are the champions, no time for losers, 'cause we are the champions.
We are the champions, my friends. And we'll keep on fighting till the end. Oh, we are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions.
Guys, the team up here that brought South Florida another cup.
My lover's got no money, he's got his strong beliefs. My lover's got no power, he's got his strong beliefs. My lover's got no fame, he's got his strong beliefs. My lover's got no money, he's got his strong beliefs. One more and more, people just want more and more freedom and love. What he's looking for, one more and more, people just want more and more freedom and love. What he's looking for.